We carry supercomputers in our pockets and can instantly video chat with someone on the other side of the planet. Yet, despite living in our modern, hyper-connected era, we are experiencing a loneliness crisis of staggering proportions. To understand why, we have to look backwards. Evolutionary history baked social connection into our survival toolkit. For the human brain, maintaining a tribe is a mandatory requirement, as essential for staying alive as finding water or shelter. Our neural architecture was engineered to enforce this group survival strategy. It physically rewards us with a cascade of calming chemicals when we are near others, and it actively punishes us with psychological distress when we are isolated. But our modern digital habits completely bypass this ancient wiring. We spend hours scrolling alone in quiet rooms, absorbing digital information without any physical presence, which creates a literal short circuit in our neural pathways. We are trying to find happiness and meaning while simultaneously starving our brains of the one physical input required to actually process those feelings: genuine, physical human connection. Deep inside the brain is a threat detection network, anchored by a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Its entire job is to scan the environment for danger and trigger a fear response to keep us alive. When we rely heavily on texts and emails, we strip away the rich survival data our brains evolved to read. We lose micro-expressions, facial mimicry, and the emotional resonance of a human voice. Without those physical, in-person cues to confirm that the person on the other end is safe and predictable, the brain starts to interpret the environment as an active threat. It locks us into a low-grade, constant state of alarm. This medical paper details exactly what happens next. The prolonged threat state forces the body to pump out cortisol, the stress hormone, ensuring our biological guard is never lowered. To cope with this constant stress, we try to self-medicate. We chase quick chemical hits through our screens, looking for relief in endless scrolling, likes, or hyperachievement. That strategy relies entirely on dopamine. Dopamine is strictly a chemical of pursuit and motivation. It drives us to seek out rewards, but it is incapable of providing the actual feeling of satisfaction. Treating the pain of isolation with dopamine-driven digital habits is a biological trap. It locks the brain into an exhausting cycle of anxiety and endless pursuit, leaving the true biological void completely unfilled. A specific neurochemical called oxytocin counteracts this fear response, often called the tend and befriend hormone. It shifts the brain's focus from defense to connection. Looking further into this research text, we see oxytocin dubbed the cuddle hormone. It is triggered by real-world physical interactions, face-to-face conversations, community presence, and physical touch. When released, oxytocin acts as a physical brake on the amygdala. It actively subdues the brain's fear response and immediately reduces our internal stress levels. This braking mechanism sends a clear, systemic signal cascading through the entire nervous system, confirming that the environment we are in is safe. Once that safety is established, the brain can utilize serotonin. As this section notes, serotonin is the confidence molecule that mediates lasting satisfaction, optimism, and the profound feeling of having enough. There is a critical neurological constraint. The brain's serotonin circuitry is physically unable to function properly as long as the amygdala's threat system remains dominant. Social connection provides the physical data the brain needs to disarm its threat architecture. Without that proximity, the brain cannot transition into a state of sustained contentment. This state of lasting meaning, health, and resilience is known as eudaimonic happiness. It stands in sharp contrast to the brief, fleeting nature of hedonic pleasure driven by quick dopamine hits. Contentment functions as a deliberate neural state. It relies on a precise balance of neurochemical systems that only activate when the body registers its environment as safe and supported. These neurochemical conditions rely on genuine, in-person social connection. The prefrontal cortex frequently generates predictive errors in isolation. It often miscalculates, suggesting that staying home is safer or that a text is as effective as a face-to-face meeting. Achieving mental health requires actively fighting those modern, fear-driven impulses. We have to push past the friction and engage with physical, real-world communities. True, lasting happiness remains out of reach in isolation. Human beings are structurally engineered for physical togetherness. Our brains stop processing fulfillment without it.